Okay, in this movie, what we're going to attempt to do is set up on 656, backside 655, and slope stake stations 4100 left at 2 to 1 in cutter fill and 2 to 1 in cutter fill to the right. And notice that north is going in this direction, so it's twisted in the CAD environment, but here it's straight up. And 656 is here. Our backside is here, 655. We're going to occupy 656, backside 655. And we're first going to stake out the left side and try to hit both 1001 and 1002 in two separate operations. Then we're going to switch over and do 1004 and 5. Now, what are those points? I'll show you right now. Z. Okay. Notice that I created, this is going to be the pivot point, which is the shoulder, and it's going to come down at 2 to 1, and it's going to intersect right there. I think I can actually create, let's go to the civil package, come up to sections, and do polyline slope report. And this is actually at 5 horizontal and 5 vertical. And I'll just pick OK there and pick right there and pick that one there. And if I window up, now it's in percent. Let's do that command again and see if we can switch it to ratio. Let's make it a little bit bigger here. Let's type 0.5. And I think it tells you which direction. Can you make it go down as opposed to up? I guess not. All right, well, anyway, we'll pick here and go there. And obviously we know that 50% is 2 to 1. So I've created a point at 950 for fill, at 960 here for cut. Did the same thing over here at 51.44. 960 is elevation, and over here is 950 at right 61.02. So let's go ahead and slope stake this cross section 4100 in SurvCE. So where do we do that? Well, we go to the road package here, and let's first go to utilities, and we're going to do input edit template in series. Pick this guy right here, and you can see we're doing 4,000 to 4,300. This is the one we're going to do, 4,100. We'll take a look at that one right there. Now, let me go out and just look at, not template series. Let me exit out of here. And let's go to template editor in SurvCE and just look at station 4100. That's 4050. And we're going to scroll over. And there's 4100. Now, this is the information that's put in there. Now, if I go to cut fill, you can see it says 2 to 1, 2 to 1. I found I found that these templates were all made and put in as negative 2 to 1, negative 2 to 1. I edited quite a few of these. Let me load one that I didn't edit. Save changes, no need to, it's all correct. But let's just grab anyone here and go to cut fill. And you can see that it's coming up negative right there. So please edit all your templates so it only says 2 to 1 there and not negative 2 to 1, because the slope stake program would not work. Now there's quite a few templates there to edit, but that's how you go about doing that. So let's go back and let's go straight to stake road. And right now I want to be set up for manual total station right there. We're going to go to stake road, design files. We're going to pick the green check. These are the centerline these are the design files. Centerline file here, profiles there, and template in series, which you saw from 4,000 to 4,300. So we're just going to pick OK. Now, if I want to zoom out a little bit, if you pick this guy right there, it's going to be the pivot point essentially, and I could go straight to slope stake. But let's go ahead and just stake out this point right there. And I'm going to put in a 5-foot offset. So we're going to stake it out 5-foot offset right here. So I'm going to pick OK. And it tells us 150, 19. It's pretty straightforward there. And the distance is going to be 57.55. That's good enough right there. And we'll leave the elevation right there. So I'm going to hit read. And we'll type 150 let's do 20, a little bit off. Distance is 57.55. And you can see that it's in the ballpark. That's actually not too far off right there. Elevation, we came up at 57.55 as the slope distance, but elevation is 956.2. And let's go ahead and store it anyway. And I just want to see 950, and it was 956. So we have a fill of 6.2 or 6.26. Okay, we pick OK to go ahead and store that. And now let's go right to slope stake. And the slopes, as you notice, were 2 to 1. Make sure that this is set to pivot point, not edge of road. That would be from the edge of pavement, not from the shoulder. So I want to pick from the user picked edge, which was the shoulder, the last point to the left. And I don't want to do an offset for this. Pivot point user selected, slopes by template, which are 2 to 1, cut or fill. And I pick this guy here. And it's telling me waiting for reading. Now, let's go back here. Let's go to the survey menu, pick radial stakeout, and the occupy point is 656. The backside point is 655, 1001. I'm going to pick report, and those are the angles that I want to turn. So now let's just pick read, and the first angle is 144. Let's do 15. Enter, enter, enter. Distance will be 61.5, not 6. And notice that, oh, guess what? Got to pay attention. It's telling me to stake out station 4100 and not 4000 or 4150 or 4050. Let's go back to menu. Notice up here, 4150. Let's go back. Let's go to 4100. That's the one we want. So pay very close attention to the station that you're staking out and the offset, which is this guy right here, which is shoulder. See, if I pick this one, that's the edge of the road. And if I pick this one, that's the shoulder. And we are on the left side. And I pick slope stake, slope by template, pivot point user defined. That's correct. I'm going to go ahead and pick OK. And all right, and you can see that I'm set up on 656 backsiding here, and I'm going to turn a reading of 144.14. Enter, enter, and that's going to be 61.5. And it's telling me go out. Now I'm at 950, and there's 950, and it wants me to go there, and it's telling me to go out 3.046 and to the right 4 feet. I am confused, that's for sure. So it's telling me to, and what station I'm at. I'm 4100, and I'm left. I'm supposed to be left 3602. I bet you that 5-foot offset's getting used somewhere. So let's go back to menu. Let's turn this guy off, or set it to 0, and go back to slope stake. We're at 9. The picked pivot point is the shoulder, which is at station 23.5 here on the left-hand side, and the elevation of it is 956.26. I think the key thing is that we have to leave that to 0. So I pick slope stake, and slopes by template, Make sure this is pivot point is user selection, not edge of road. Pick it again, switches. See if I pick here, this disappears, edge of road, user SH. I'm going to pick this, and now let's zoom out a little bit so I can see where I'm at. So this is the pivot point that we're starting from, and it's waiting for a reading. Let's go back here, type in 144.15, enter, 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 61.5, enter, enter. It's spot on. So keep that 5 foot off. Now you can see that it's almost 2 to 1, and it's telling me to go out 0.123 and a little bit to the left. So I'm going to pick read again. I'm going to put in almost exactly what's there. 144 point, I'll say 14, enter, 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 but this time I'll do 61.6, enter, enter, and now we're pretty much spot on. It's 0.023, 0.003, and there is the virtual 2 to 1. Now, where is it getting this fill from? Well, the fill is coming from the bank. It's telling you that it figured out it must be in what? Fill. So coming from 956.26, that's the shoulder elevation. You have to go down 6.26 feet. If this is your true rod height, then that's where you have that much fill to get to that tie point. So, okay, let's go ahead and store it. So I store it, and store data to the cut sheet is checked. Make sure that is checked. Store to point to coordinate file. It's going to be 906. That's fine. It's supposed to be 4100. That's correct. And the catch point that I calculated was 36.02, and it comes up at 36.004. But it's telling you to go out back negative 0.16 and to the right 0.018, which would probably bring that to 2, which is what I calculated. So the catch point is at 950. My stake point is at 950. And the pivot point that we're coming from is 956.26. Pick OK. Stake and offset point, and this is just for horizontal information where you can still write the story stake information on the offset stakes. So we're going to go ahead and say yes. It says 10 foot offset, delta distance from catch point. Sounds good to me. Pick OK. And it tells you to turn that angle. We're going to make it pretty quick. And we're going to do 137.2225 and enter, 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 and do 68 on the button, enter. And we're close enough for this demo presentation or movie. And this is the information that you have there. I'm just going to hit the green button and stake a second offset point. We could, but we're going to say no for the movie right there. So that is done. Now we want to do what? The right side. So I pick over here, and I could pan over, and I could obviously just stake that segment and do an offset, but I'm going to go right to slope staking after I've selected the right side. Its offset is 46.23, and the template, now I'm going to pick here. Now, slope side template I know are 2 to 1, 2 to 1, but I'm going to go here and say user defined right here, and we're going to type in 3 colon to 1. That's interesting. And 3 colon to 1 right there. Okay, pick OK. And now it's oh, that's the last point that we stored. And we're going to come off this one right here. So I'm going to do read. And the angle to 1005, that's in fill. We want to do outside 1004. So the angle was 225. Let's type 225.49. Enter, enter, enter. And the distance is 71.7. And okay, now why is it the elevation? What is the elevation of 1004? It's 960. So clearly I need to be 10 feet lower here. So if I, or higher, I think. Well, if I put that in, it's going to be lower. So I have to be higher. Um, okay, this has to be negative 3.37 if we want to do a zenith of 90. So now I hit read, and we're going to put in that same angle before, 225.49, enter, 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 71.75, we'll say, enter, and now we're 960, 960, and oh, you know what it is? I calculated that point for a 2-to-1 slope, but you can see its design cut is 3-to-1. So it's telling you to go out to that location that's at 3-to-1 because we put in a user-defined slope, not a 2-to-1 slope that was designed and input for the template design. So proof positive that it did work. So we're going to go back to menu, and we're going to do what? We're going to stay at 4100. We're going to pick slope stake. We're going to do what? We're going to switch to slopes by template. Pick the green button, and we're going to hit read and just put in the same information before, 49, and enter, enter, 71.75, enter, and design cut. Oh, you know what it is? I'm going to go check that template. It has its own user. It's not 2-to-1. That location I just staked out is at 2-to-1 from this pivot point at elevation 957.395. But watch, when I go to the template, last reading has not been stored. No, I'm not going to store it. I'm going to go to template editor, and we're going to load 4100. And I guess I can just type it in. And pick cut fill, and right side, see the left side's 2-to-1, but in cut or fill, it's 10.18-to-1. And notice I removed the negatives there. Nothing worked. I couldn't get a thing to work when I practiced this movie. So just wanted to let you know that's why it's going 10.18-to-1, because that's what the template said to do. So I'm not going to change anything. No, I'm just going to back out. Save changes now. All right, let's go back to slope stake. I'm beating this to death. It'll be a long movie. I apologize. And pick the green check. Go back to slope stake. And now, what am I going to do? I'm going to fix it so it's going to be 2-to-1. 2:1. 2:1. Pivot point user selected. Top of bank is that user selected segment or pivot point. And now it switches over. That was the last point I stored right now. And I just pick read, and I type 225.49, enter, 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 71.75, yeah, enter. Hey, we got it right. Design cut is 2-to-1 from 957.395, which is actually at station. Well, I didn't write it down, but the cut is 2.6 feet to go from this point that I just I'm storing at 960 to go down to 957 is 2.605. There's the slope for the existing data, and for 5.23 to 5223. I think that's the offset from that point. Okay, and I'm going to store that. Go ahead and store it. Store to cut sheet was toggled on. Make sure. Offset a stakeout point, offset point. I think you've already seen that. Now let's just go over some of this data. Progressive as opposed to total or combined. If I do total, you can or go combo. This is offset to center. It's 51.45. Let's go to progressive. So this is EP to center. It's 12.5. This shows you all the template features. It's really like offset to catch is 21.3 feet. Catch to pivot point 26 horizontal distance was 26.52 feet. Vertical distance 2.6. Yeah, that's pretty close to what it was. And if I scroll over, all right, let's just exit out. Okay, whoop, I exited out completely. Okay, we're good. Now that was in cut for the right side and fill for the left side. Now I'm going to do fill, cut for the left side. I did fill for the left side and cut for the right side. Now I'm going to do cut for the left side and fill for the right side. Okay, so just to prove that, you can see that I staked out this point and I staked out this point. 1004. Now I'm going to do 1005, which is 950. That's correct. And this point over here is 960. So I'm already have the data put in to do 960. So I'll just try to stake this point out. So let's go back here. Pick stake road. Pick OK. These are all, there's the centerline profile and the template in series data. I am going to pick OK here. 4100 is correct. No offset H. And let me just see something here. If I type in 5 there and go to zoom extents and then pick here, it switches to the left side. Now if I pick slope stake, it doesn't say, oh, it says right 5. Aha. Say no more. Let me see what happens when I go back and turn that off and go back to slope stake. And now it's L0. So that's what it was doing to us last time. Now we have user-defined slopes. I'll leave it that way because I did calculate it for 2 to 1. From this pivot point, SH on the left side, and pick this. That is correct. I'm going to do waiting for reading. This is the last point stored. I pick this guy here, and that's going to be 1002, which is 148 point, we'll say 15, and that's 58.8. 5 is good for the first shot. Okay, so notice that we're close to 2 to 1. We have a cut of 3.74, so we're cutting, going up from 956, which obviously we're at 960, kind of makes sense from the pivot point, and we are 7 feet out from station left 30.784. I think I wrote it down. It was, yes, 2350. So if you were, that's about 7 feet. So that's the offset from the offset point. Okay, from the pivot point, sorry, 7.284 feet to get to this station when it was at 23.5, which kind of makes sense. Let's go ahead and read another one and kind of put in the exact information, which is 148.1304. Can't be any more precise than that. And we're going to put in the exact distance, 58.82. And we'll see if I calculated it spot on. And I did. 2.001 from this cross section right here. I just extended right here, this 2 to 1 slope. Trimmed it off and created, once I calculated the station and its elevation, I input that here, so I have an elevation of 60, and there's the coordinates for that value. So I'm not staking out that point. I know that is where the tie is for slope staking. Anyway, 4100, I'm spot on the stationing. 30.98, I calculated 30.98. Same thing, and 960. And we came up with, well, anyway, it says 2 to 1 spot on. Cut of 3.74, and we're offset by 7.48 feet from 23.5, the pivot point. I think that explains everything here. Let's go ahead and store this. And store the data to cut sheet. And we're just going to pick OK. And we'll stake an offset point. Why not? And pick this. And we're going to do read 140.3945. Enter, enter, enter. 64.65. Enter. And that's close enough for me. Go ahead and store that. Store that. And offset to catch 10 feet. 7.48 from catch to pivot point. And pivot to edge of pavement. This is input stuff. Let's go to total. And 10, 17. So offset to catch. Well, we know it's about 7 feet there. So offset to pivot point, 17.48 feet. I think that's from here. 10, 17, I guess so. And then 28 would be from the edge of pavement. Now this is the edge of pavement, 28. Huh. Yeah, that's the center line. Offset to, let's see, right here, I would be at 32. So the horizontal distance offset, oh, sorry, I did a 10-foot offset. Yeah, offset to catch is 10 feet. I was spot on. Then 17 is 7 is here. So that's 17. And then 28.48 would be to here. And then to the center line is right through there. Okay, that makes total sense. Sorry about that. I thought I was at the actual tie point, but I was at the offset. Stake second offset point. No, I'm not going to do that. If you do that, it shows you the angle up here in distance, and you can walk to it as it tells you to go in and out. All right, second point, nope. And now, what am I going to do? I'll do zoom extents. We're going to go to the right side. We're going to do slope stake. And we're going to come off 46.23 to this Z. So we pick slope stake. We're going to stay with user defined because I think the right side has different slopes, not 2 to 1. Well, I guess we could just come down here and find out what it is. And, well, it doesn't tell us, does it? We have to go to edit the template. So we're going to do user define, keep it at 2 to 1, no offset left from or right from that data. Pick OK. And now I'm going to do read, and we know that we're trying to go to this fill point here at 950. Oh, let's cancel out, and if I remember, it was 6.63. Now let's pick here, and that's going to be 230. I'm lazy. We're just going to go right to it. 241. I don't care. That's good enough. And then 78.9. Enter. Enter. Close enough. And notice that we're almost 2 to 1. And fill is 7.3 from the tie point. So we're there's 950. That's what I was shooting for by putting in this HI or HR, and and it's 14 feet, which makes sense. I mean, if you come over here and go, hey, this is going to be 5 feet, 10 feet, and almost 14 feet. It extends out that far. So I think that explains pretty close to what this value is. That's the offset from the tie point. And this is the elevation down or up, in this case down, and fill from this 957, which we're at 950. So that makes some sense, 7.395. And there's the slope. Go ahead and store it and pick OK. And no, I'm not going to stick it out. Now, I just want to go back and tell you that, oops, one too many. All right, I want to go back to utilities, and no, I don't want to go back to utilities. I want you to go back to template editor and fix each one of these templates. Unfortunately, let's go to load and type in 41 plus 50. Go to cut fill. And okay, I corrected these. 2 to 1, 2 to 1. The right side's 1004, 1004. Pick OK. Let's go to load. Save changes no. And go to, let's go to 4250. Go to cut fill. Yep, there you go. If you don't get rid of those minuses, it won't work. Slope staking does not work. I don't know how that happened, but make sure that you have no minuses in any of these options here. Cut is always a positive going down. Fill is always a positive going up, and that's just the nature of the software. We should probably have a little error trap if you put it in negative, because it fouled up the whole program when I was practicing for the movie. So make sure there's no negatives in the template file. And you can see I just did that for 4200. Let's load 4200. Save changes, you bet. And let's go 42 plus 00, enter. And go to cut fill. I think I fixed that one. No, I didn't. All right. Backspace that one. Backspace that one. Pick the green button. Save it. Enter. You bet, replace it. And go to load. I think we've loaded enough. All right, now I'm going to exit out. We're going to go back to utilities, and we're going to go to input, edit template series, and I did 4100, 4150, 4200, 4250, 43, and you would add like another one here and just say 43 plus 50, and pick OK. Please select template file. Oh, I see. Select here. Now type in 4350 instead of scrolling over. It takes too long. And station 4350. Okay, it's right there. And again, to fix those, I would edit that file or rename it. But let's go to template editor and take a look at 4350. 4350. 4350. Go to cut fill. Yep, got to edit those. So when you made these the first time, you put in negatives, and I did discover nothing will work if there are negative numbers in there. And we'll just say yes to overwrite. And I'll just load up 4350, 43 plus 100. Oh, I hit enter twice. That will load it twice. Pick cut fill, and oh, I thought I edited those. Let's go to 4250. Make sure I'm editing these. 4250, save changes, yes. 250. Go to cut fill. Yeah, it's retaining my updates. Let's go to 4350. I know I just did that one. Save changes. Sure, I don't really care. And go 4350. And we know that we just edited that one. And there it is. It is edited. And we'll save it. And it is edited. Okay. Alrighty, so that is the end of the movie. I hope that by me drawing up this section right here and kind of showing you and then creating those points. I'll do zoom previous. After I created these offset points at even elevations, 460 or 450, and cut or fill, I then created points with those elevations, 1000 to 1005, set up on 656, 655, and just changing the HR, the rod height, set it up so that I could, by using 90 zenith, stake those points out and find the toe point. So I hope this movie has cleared up any confusion now that you have with doing road layout and slope staking using SurvCE and the road stake road feature. And again, I have to reiterate, the whole problem occurred because, and maybe it was my training, I didn't make it clear, or told you the reverse by accident. Never type in a negative for a cut or a fill. Just leave it positive, and it will work perfectly. Thank you.